And we are live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is the Millionaire Ladies Mob. We are your friends with benefits, your friends with living benefits. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Ladies, how are you?
Oh, I'm great, great, great. I love talking about living benefits, Carmen. I just love it because, oh man, you have to be alive. You don't have to be dead. So I am Malia Sherrod, the healthcare queen. Welcome everyone to our every other week live.
Oh my gosh, she's the healthcare queen. That's why she wants you alive.
Yeah, I want it alive.
Well, hello, hello, hello. It's your girl Saran, here to help you get your money right. I am here just making it happen. I'm excited to be back live with the Millionaire Ladies Mob. I'm on location today, so it's exciting, but I'm ready to get this conversation started and help as many of our women and wealth creators get it right.
Saran, I'm loving those earrings. They'll take me back to the Roundaway girls back in Brooklyn.
These were procured from my aunt in New York.
Yeah, those definitely are Brooklyn earrings. Let me tell you, I love those kind of earrings. Eh?
Look, you see how I said procured.
I know, right? Now, since she watches the show, she knows where to go to get them to procure them back. Y'all, listen, we are on here every other Thursday, second and fourth Thursdays of the month, talking about things to help you get your money right, things to help you get your wealth started, continued, uh, grow to whatever it is that you need. We're here to help you set up your retirement um, where you cannot outlive your money. But tonight, we are talking about living benefits. Y'all, life insurance, most people associate it with death. And yes, the original purpose of life insurance was about if you died. But tonight we're asking, what if you live? What if you live? We believe that life insurance solves that life's puzzle, right? If you die too soon, which we're not going to be talking about tonight, if you live too long, which we'll talk about another night, but what if you become ill, right? What if you become ill? And although life insurance is not the first thing that people think about when they're thinking about, if they think about becoming ill, this is something we want to put into your ear. We want you to think about this. What if something happened that caused you not to be able to work, not to be able to a grave or serious illness that took you out from being able to work for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years? We want you to think about that because many Americans, okay, many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck or paycheck to Monday. So we want to talk about what happens if you're not only without one paycheck, but we're talking about if you're without 6, 7, 10, 12. What are things that you can do to be prepared in the event that that happens?
Oh, Carmen, you know what? I just wanted to say I had a client that I was helping her with her Medicare. This was this week, and I asked her how she was doing, and she says, I'm not doing very well. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's wrong? She broke both wrists. Okay, she fell. Okay, now my question is if she had had living benefits. She can't do anything. I didn't realize I realized when you break both wrists, everything, you have to wash your hair, brush your teeth, everything, you need your hands. What happens when you can't use your hands because of an accident? Would a living benefits policy help? And those are the discussions that we need to bring to the forefront. We need to talk about this kind of stuff. It shocked me. She's not even 65 yet. She's turning 65, but she can't do anything. Can't type, can't do anything, and she's in pain. So now I asked, do you have someone to help you? Well, my husband. There's nobody else. She can't do anything. What do we do? How do we compensate for that? Do we just do it like the old school where we used to do, have somebody help you and that's it? Or with these living benefits, are these some things that you can access cash? Get some of those living benefits because you had an accident. That's a question, because I want the audience to think about these things.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing is that what could she do? Because at the end of the day, none of us really thinks about not having the use of a limb for the rest of our lives. And we don't often think about it as a financial issue, at least initially. But when we do realize that, what if this potential physical issue causes a financial issue that I can't get out of, and then I need help for to make sure that I can move forward, it makes us want to sit back and pause and think, what can I be doing to protect my assets, especially if I'm in a physical role and or I need these things to do. On a personal note, you both know I was in a car accident due to no fault of my own. And thankfully, I did not lose the permanent loss of limbs, but I was in a position where my leg was fractured and I could not handle the daily activities of living on my own. It was super temporary. Thankfully, I had good family, good friends who were able to come and stay with me and help me do those things for the temporary period. And that temporary inability did not prevent me from earning money either. And so while it did not, I knew that if by chance, and under God's grace, it did not, if I was in a position where I would not have the ability again, I would have something to provide for me financially to help me to care for myself or to help me with the activities of daily living. And that's just one story, in addition to your story. But I think we don't want to think about the what ifs, because sometimes people spiral out of control with the what if. And it's a term I learned in grad school. We catastrophize the whole thing, and we all have our own catastrophized story, right? And that keeps us from going to the place or putting the things in place. But really, it puts us, they say fight, freeze, or flight. Well, you got to get out of the fight, freeze, or flight and get into action to take care of things, to provide the protection so that you are okay.
That is super, super important what you're saying, because listen, there's a statistic that states 45% of Americans carry medical debt, right? And I just talked about the fact that a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to the weekend, paycheck to tomorrow, and we can't afford to go without one paycheck, right? Going without several, as well as adding medical debt to that. And this is medical debt with having health insurance I'm talking about. I'm not talking about medical debt and because you do not have health insurance. I'm talking about you have health insurance. But most people are surprised because we don't normally use it or whatever. We are really truly surprised when we get there. We thought that her health insurance was going to take care of certain things, but when we get there, we find out words like deductible and co-insurance and co-payment, and we don't actually cover that. We don't care what it is that it is, but we don't cover that. And so people are left in a bind with medical debt. You know, the majority of bankruptcies is because of medical debt. Y'all, talk a little bit about how life insurance with living benefits, how living benefits would help someone who ended up in a situation where they could not take care of themselves, meaning they couldn't eat, they couldn't feed themselves, that is, they couldn't, you know, like you were saying, Saran, you had to get help with the basic necessities, helping to get dressed or helping to move from one place, transfer yourself, you know. How could, now we're not going to pay, not we, but they're not going to pay if you just fell and fractured your foot and you can whatever, you know. But we're talking about real life serious things, catastrophes.
Look, catastrophize is not an easy word to say.
Real life catastrophes that can happen and do happen to real people every day. How does living benefits come in? How do they help? What does that mean exactly, living benefits?
Well, I'll take that question, Carmen. One of the things, hold on, let me get my little computer working. One of the things to consider when you talk about living benefits is that living benefits is something that is what is considered a rider. It's a bonus on a life insurance policy. Some have them, some don't. They have to be structured a certain way to make sure they have them, and you have to be eligible for it. But if you have a living benefit rider on your policy that covers if you become ill, what it will do for you is, depending on the qualifying illness, and there's certain triggers that will allow that to be eligible, it will pay you money and you can do whatever you want to do with the money. And so
we can pay bills with it? We can pay medical bills?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was asking, you can pay medical bills with it?
So great question, Carmen. That money, you could pay whatever you want to pay with for that money, because the way it works is it sets it up so that it can take care of you. So in some instances, depending on your illness, if you have an illness that affects your activities of daily living, it will come in the form of a monthly supplement. And that monthly supplement can be used to pay for a caregiver or someone to come in and help you do those activities of daily living. In some instances, you may be able to pay a family member or someone to just make sure, you know, especially if they have to take off their job or anything like that, someone to help you get those things done. In other instances, say a illness that, you know, cancer, heart attack, stroke, stuff like that, it'll come in the form of a lump sum. I call it bucket list money. Depending on that type of illness, if it's one where they say, you know, you got less than 24 months to live, and if you're physically able to, you could take that lump sum, book your year-round cruise, and just cruise around the world and see the world, because the doctor says you're not going to live anyway, so you might as well just, you know, go hard or whatever, right? Or one of my favorite movies, Last Holiday, that Queen Latifah's in. You see, she took all her money and she was blowing it in Calovivari in $5,000 a night suites. And I say that lightheartedly, but when the doctor tells you a definitive date that you might not be here, you start seeing your life flash before your eyes and you think, what could I have done? What can I still do to live this life? And that's what that money allows for you to do. Now, it could be that you just need your home retrofit so that you can stay there, but it really is up to your discretion what that money is from a rider, from a living benefit rider.
You know what? One more thing I want to say. And this could happen to anyone. So you hear about it every day. You're telling me that if I have a traumatic, let's say, brain injury, and I'm in a super serious accident, I'm in a coma and things like that, I'm just laying there. My family is around. Everybody's coming to the hospital every day. I might be in the hospital for 3-4 months. I have medical insurance. Okay. But there are ways, or these living benefits that go on life insurance policies could pay either a lump sum or something monthly, depends on what the policy does, to help me during this traumatic time, help my family, because now, maybe I got to fly grandma from, I'm in Florida, I got to fly grandma from Arizona because she wants to come and take care of the babies. And there's so many things we don't think about that happens when somebody gets ill. So there are policies that have living benefits, and not all policies and living benefits are the same, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I wanted to just stress that. We are hearing about people getting sick every day. I just heard a heartbreaking story of a celebrity's daughter that had a brain tumor. And it's not looking good right now. First, she was okay, doing all this stuff, chemotherapy. She's young. It happens to young people.
Absolutely.
This is not just for older people. That's why we need to insure our babies when they're young.
Right. And so they say the largest growing population in our elder care facilities are the disabled, and they're young, young and the disabled, because they need to be in a place where someone can care for them. They have access to care 24 hours. And so, and I like the fact that you said, if the illness causes you to be in a hospital and things like that, thinking about healthcare. Now, I'm talking to the healthcare queen, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a certain amount that the healthcare is going to pay, and there may still be a gap between what the healthcare will pay and what it actually costs to be there, and that additional funds built up in that type of living benefit rider might be available to help you with that financial burden if that does occur. And it's one of those things that we just don't think enough about. Mm-hmm. We are, everybody's out here creating generational wealth, right? Everybody's out here hustling, grinding, doing all the things that, they say they're doing. But the first part of that process is protection. And, I just actually made a post that says it works if you work it. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we're out here grinding. We don't know what's going to happen a week from now, 2 weeks from a year, 2 years. We don't know. And so having things in place that will be here is one of those things that, even after my accident a couple of months ago, I became keenly aware that I'm not the age I tell y'all on the internet anymore. Right? I'm not the age I tell y'all on the internet. But the thing is that means that the time is ticking, so to speak. And I'm not rushing it, not Roger Rabbit, running down the thing like hurry up, tick, tick, tick. But in the sense that from the moment we are born and we come into the world, we're growing, and we're growing towards whatever that time is for us to not be here anymore, right? I don't know anybody who's got a life alive. If they did, they're probably a quadrillionaire because they got the secret sauce that none of us have, right? Mm-hmm. And so the thing is, even the thing with living, none of us, I want you to raise your hand on this live right now, or say in the chat, if anywhere in your life, if anything happens to you, you not only want your family to be responsible for you physically, but you also want to make them responsible for you financially. If anybody says yes to that, just unfriend me right now. Because the thing is that nobody intends to do that.
Right.
But you do it by not making a decision. Because if I give you a question and the answer is yes or no, and you don't make a decision, the answer is automatically no. And so the thing, we have to really just hone in on the part of it that is, who are we? Who do we want to be? What do we want our futures to look like? Do we want to burden our children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, godchildren, or whoever, to not only take care of us physically, but also take care of us financially? Then we have to really just kind of really think about it from the perspective of, maybe you're not protecting you, but maybe you're protecting the people that you love from having to have a financial and a physical burden of doing things for you because you love them enough to make this plan.
Oh, yes, wow. Yes, that is deep, and and really well said. People need to um, take heed to that, because when you said, is it my internet or is it hers?
I think it's her internet.
Okay. But when Saran said that, no, she had a temporary problem, but she had friends that were able, friends and family that were able to come and give a helping hand, right? They were able to come in, and help her do some of the things that she probably took for granted before then, because you're
Yeah.
just doing it yourself or whatever. Here's the thing: when you do not make a decision, like Saran was just saying, your friends and family, though they may love you, may not even be able to do that, right? As I said before, many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't. You're missing a paycheck. They also can't now afford to miss a paycheck to be able to take care of you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so you are really this is really super important for you to think about. And some people might be listening to me and they may say, well, one, I can get long-term care, right? And yes, you possibly can get long-term care, and I congratulate you if that's something that you're going to do. But many long-term care policies, and you need to, matter of fact, this is not a single solve. This is a multiple solve. This life, it's a multiple solve. We need so many different things in order to solve or to fully solve the problems. So you might have long-term care, and most young people do not have it. And right now we're kind of even talking more to the younger people. But even if you did have long-term care, sometimes long-term care comes with, you can only use the money for this. You can only use the money if you're in a nursing home or a nursing facility or skilled facility or something like that. And so what happens to, I need to still pay my mortgage. I need to get someone to take care of the children because I'm ill. I can't do it. I need someone to take the kids to school. I need people to cook. There's so many other things that we need that cannot get solved with just that. And this would be another way of solving that problem. So not only protecting you, protecting your children, and even protecting family members who have to watch you because they have to keep going to work for their children, and they can't afford to miss a paycheck.
Right. You remember, Carmen, back in the day. So I remember back in the day when I was younger, the family would come together and help. Somebody got sick. That was, you're back, you're in it was a slower pace in time. Family lived very, very close, and you would come together and, they would take care of each other. Well, now the pressures of life are so great that people have to work. They have to work long hours. Kids are there. It's the stresses are so much different than it was back, 30, 40 years ago. So what you want to make sure of, is to have something set aside so that they know what to do and keep it in a safe place. So the living benefits are attached to the life insurance. This is one way that you can alleviate the stress of your family having to take care of you. Make a phone call. Yeah, I want my family there with me, but I don't want them to have to do the daily things that may need to be done if I'm incapacitated and can't do it for myself. I want them to be able to make a phone call and have somebody come and take care of me. Or if I have to go to a facility, which I don't want to do because I've been to those facilities, I want to be at my home. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes the doctor, I have a friend right now, she had a stroke. They won't let her go home because she has nobody at home to take care of her. Nobody. Mm-hmm. So she's sitting in this place, and it's been at least 4 months. So the bills are racking up. Mm-hmm. She has a home. It's just, I don't even want to think about what's
and the bills are racking up there too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to think about these things. And it's not that it's just we're doom and gloom.
Yeah.
We are looking at protection, protecting the family, protecting the future of the family. And that in order to do that, you have to prepare. You have, like, when you have a new baby, everybody, you prepare. You have the baby shower, you have all this stuff, and you do all this thing. You got to prepare for each milestone in life. And we have to think about this because it's very important to be able to keep going and keep living and not have, if you're worried about money and where you're going to get the next meal from, you can't get well.
Yeah.
You can't thrive in your sickness. You're depressed, you're sad. The doctor's like, well, what's going on? You're like, and you just want to go. And that's how people
End up
nowadays, they
dying.
just, huh?
End up dying.
That's
Yeah.
right. Whew,
Yeah.
it's sad.
So, I mean, but the good news is, right? And that's why I always love to give the bucket list story because and I love the movie Last Holiday because you can, and if you've never seen the movie, go watch it. Queen Latifah.
I think I liked it with Common. I
and
liked
if you watch
Common.
the movie, if you think about this, the storyline of the movie and the message that it's sending, and here's someone, and I'm going to describe her character in the movie because this character is us. This character has been so many of us. So in the movie The Last Holiday, Queen Latifah, she plays Georgia Bird, and Georgia Bird is a retail associate. She works hard. She goes to work every day. She's the best at her craft. She's mastered the work that she does. She has a vision board in the form of a journal that she puts all her visions in. She calls it the possibilities book. What could life be like? What could things be possible? And she's at work and she's minding the business. She gets hurt on the job. She gets a diagnosis that says she's going to die in like 6 months or whatever the time frame was. And that's when it hit her that, oh my God, I've been making this book of possibilities or making this vision board. Let's just make it real for us, making this vision board of what my life could be. And I never even tried to do any of the things. And she eventually just kind of takes charge and says, I'm going to get some money. She had some money saved up. She was living a frugal lifestyle. She was doing all the things. She was clipping coupons. She was saving her money. She was practicing cooking and things, but she was watching her health so she wouldn't even eat the decadent food that she cooked. She was eating food to lose weight, right? And it was just so heartbreaking because we all get in that grind and we have that focus. I got to do this right. I got to do that right. And we're not living. And I'm not saying that if you're on a goal and you're on a goal, you're focused on a goal and trying to get there, don't stop grinding. What I'm saying is she realized she woke up when she was about to die that she had not lived at all. And she took the opportunity to go and live. And not to kill the end of the movie, she doesn't die, whatever. But in that time when she went to go explore, one of the things she put in that possibilities book or that vision board, she went and lived her life and found out that life was so much sweeter actually taking the chance and living the life and having things set up and going after your dreams. And that's where having protection allows you to go and move and live your life, but don't live it in fear because you're covered. Move forward and be able to just do things. And the movie, just every time it comes on, I watch it just because I can get a different message from each different phase of it, because I'm a metaphorical person. I make something up about everything, but it allows you to take the message and say, oh my God, I am just on the hamster wheel. And if I get that message, I could die on the hamster wheel and never have even seen all the scenery around me. Wow. And so this allows this type of impact. Having protection allows you to live. I know for me personally, I love the fact that I have these living benefits and I live life without fear and I take chances and I'm grinding to do certain things, but I'm enjoying life to do it because I have no fear that if something happens, I'm not able to be taken care of physically and financially. And that's what we want for you, because you are going to work every day and working hard. You are kicking butt and taking names. You are saving and being frugal. You are trying to learn how to invest. You are trying to learn how to build a business. You are taking care of kids, taking care of grandkids, taking care of your sister kids, taking care of your cousin kids. I mean, it just is what it is, right? If you look into the history of the foster care system, it was based on African American women taking care of other people's children because they had to go out of town to work. Don't let me drop some science on you. You know I can roll. But that's one of the things that we want you to make sure you could just live life without fear and stop focusing on. We're making vision boards just to look at and never going after the vision.
Wow.
Yep.
Look, I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
So my tagline for tonight: living benefits are about living, right? Living benefits are about living. Living benefits are about, just like Saran talked about, being able to do what the hell you want if certain unexpected things were to happen, right? Living benefits are about providing that financial support during these unexpected events. Living benefits are about paying for household expenses. Living benefits are about adult daycare, nursing homes. Living benefits are about home modifications, because you need to install a lift to take you from downstairs to upstairs or something like that. Those things are super expensive, but you would not have to worry about that. Living benefits are about even paying just regular bills, home and assisted living care. That's what living benefits are about. We're talking about living benefits, living life, and not having to worry, not having to stress in the event of the unexpected.
That's some good information.
Yeah.
Living benefits.
So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well,
I was just gonna
let's talk about the names of these writers.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Because I printed them off. So because they're the carrier that we use.
One of the carriers.
One of the carriers that we use. So with these writers, the one writer that I really like, and because people don't want to think about this ever, they don't want to think about it. They're separate writers that come with the policy. You don't have to pay extra for them. The one that I like is the accelerated benefits rider for terminal illness, because cancer, heart attack, people die from those things. So terminal illness, if someone were to get diagnosed with a terminal illness, like Saran said, the bucket list, you can take a trip. If you got 6 months to live, 9 months to live, with technology and medical, the way that medical advancements, you could live a lot. Somebody could tell you you're going to only live for 6 months, and you could end up living years. Take a trip, have fun with the family, think about it, take pictures, videotape the rest. I mean, just there's so many things you can do without having to worry for money. If you had to worry about money, then you just sit back and you let it take its course. So you want to live life. And I love what you said, living benefits for living.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of movies, I don't know if you guys remember that movie when it was I think it's Family That Prays Together or something like that. I think it was, where the two older ladies, one realized that she was going to suffer from Alzheimer's and she was going to lose her memory. And then they started, she and her friend got in the car and just started to explore and take videos and lots of pictures and travel throughout, I guess, the United States or whatever. But the good part about that's a living benefit. Alzheimer's is one of the living benefits that this particular policy provides. So if your policy doesn't have that, or you want us to review to see if your policy has that, feel free to contact us. But that right there, were you in that situation, would be able to do something like that without worrying about a paycheck coming in, because you have a paycheck coming in, You
Wow.
can continue to live. And then Aaliyah mentioned earlier about cancer. 39% of Americans, 39, that's almost 40% of Americans will be diagnosed with some sort of cancer in their lifetime,
Mm.
right? 39%. So, with that, and with medical debt that we talked about, just those things alone are enough for you to make sure that you have this type of benefit attached to your life insurance, right?
Mhm.
Many of us have life insurance through our jobs. And life insurance, I am guaranteeing you that life insurance through our jobs, unless it's very, very, very rare, will not come with living benefits. It's going to be you have to die in order for your family to get that. So you need some sort of life insurance that you own.
Right. Right.
So
And you
Aaliyah talked about terminal illness.
right,
Also,
but let me go back to that life insurance at the job. So I do employee benefits. I have to beg the employer, listen, $15,000 is not enough to do anything. Don't you want to go up a little higher and offer all your employees 50,000 of life insurance? And it's just a regular term insurance. But I looked at a contract today, and when you leave the job, you can't take that policy. You can take it with you, but you have to sign a statement of good health on this particular
Oh.
plan. So you have to read the fine print. That's on your group medical insurance. Read the fine print, your group life insurance. I'm sorry. So check it out. So let's talk about the next rider.
before we move on, though, what Aaliyah just talked about a little bit about your life insurance at your job, right? Remember, gosh, I'm always having a senior moment on here and can't remember what I was going to say. But with the life insurance on your job, yeah, she said that you can't take it with you, or if you can, you may have to sign a statement of good health. Understand why the life insurance at your job is so super inexpensive. Number one, it's a term policy, but number two, it only covers you while you're there. But number three, you're getting the benefit of the group, right? That's the reason why you're getting that very inexpensive life insurance for the time that you're there, because we're looking at the entire group. Now there's some people that cannot get life insurance any other way. They may be able to get guaranteed life insurance, but most of the times the most you can get is 25,000. So if you can find a job with the illness that you have that makes you uninsurable, that might be worth it, especially if they're going to give you maybe one time of your salary. If you're making $100,000 a year, they give you $100,000 or something like that. Or hopefully it's not like the employer that tries to give you 15,000 and Aaliyah has to beg them to give you 50. But I'm saying this, these are all things that we need to think about. Do not just walk away and say, oh, I don't need to worry about that because I have life insurance. Review what you have and don't be surprised. Don't get caught up being surprised by this, right? And there was no reason to think about it before, or no one talked about it before. So we all just walked around in la la land until something happens. And now we have to go as GoFundMe to help us out. Or maybe we could come up with a sneaker that we could sell for $397.
Okay.
Wait, what kind of sneakers we selling, yo?
I don't know, but it's got gold and it's shiny and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, so we talked about terminal illness. We talked about Alzheimer's. We even talked about chronic illness, and chronic illness is the one that that Saran kind of alluded to earlier when she spoke, where you could get a monthly type benefit. And all these, of course, are dependent on all these, of course, are dependent on what it is that that you have or whatever. But then there's also critical illness. You want to talk a little bit about that, Saran?
Wait a minute. You keep applying pressure to me tonight.
I wish I had my music right now. I could sing the song Pressure.
You want to keep applying pressure to a sister tonight. Listen, we want to think about the critical illness and not from a technical standpoint. Y'all know me, I'm a storyteller. I like to tell stories. And the thing is that, unfortunately, in my family, I've experienced in the last couple of years, several of my elders have come down with critical illnesses. At least 3 have had Alzheimer's. Another couple have had cancer. And then some of it complicated by diabetes and high blood pressure in addition to it. And unfortunately, it was my great aunts, my godparent, my godmother, these people that we love. And so our elders, our family members that are baby boomers in their 70s and 80s now, they didn't have access to the type of information that we do now because we're in the information age. And so in going through the process with my elders, it's not only emotionally hard to go through that and to watch it or to be on the sidelines or to be on the front lines, whatever role that you play. And I was in a lot of different positions for each of my family members. When I'm talking a couple of great aunts, not just one. And the thing is that, there are times when you need money to help you through an emotional issue or a physical issue or to have the caregiving. And there's times when we have to, have our elders in facilities that we would not want to put them in because we don't have the capacity to, or we can't afford the in-home care. And having something to help you with those types of critical illnesses. I think there's 16 different types of critical illnesses on the list now. I'm not super smart enough to call all 16 off to you right now, but I can tell you that, cancer, heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's, end-stage renal failure, these things are real. And we think about how many people scroll through your timeline, how many people are having strokes, how many people are having, and after you think about it, how many of them are under the age of 50? And so it's a very real thing. If I told my stage age is a lot younger than 50, but we have to really just put ourselves in the position to take a mindset shift from feeling like things are going to jump up on us because we put these protections in place, and understand that if we live life long enough, we'll either get real old, we'll run out of money, or we may end up with some type of illness. I mean, there's not a lot of options. Because even if you stay healthy and you live real long, you old. You need help. You need people around you, right? You can live the good life. And at the end of the day, we all want to have that joyous time where we can live and just be an amazing 80-year-old or be an amazing 90-year-old and get out and do things. And I've on this platform many times told you the stories of one of my very good friends and sorority sisters, Diamond Soradora. She lived to 94 years old. And even at 94 years old, she still could walk on her own, talk on her own. She knew what was going on. I needed readers more than she needed readers. She had a full calendar of social activities. She had drivers. She didn't drive anymore. She had drivers to all the fun stuff. And she lived.
Wow.
Not just existed, she lived all the way up until the time she transitioned. She was able to live, and she had a very short illness that came in and she passed, but she lived. When I tell you, when the doors of when the fun doors opened, she was at the door, right? You can go and check out she even has a whole Facebook page of her of her having fun celebrating Diamond Sword Dora. You can go find it. The page is still up. I put it up years ago. But the thing is that she danced. She was still able to physically dance. And again, I told you there's 3 ways. She lived, but she always had money because she was a mathematician too. So she knew what she was doing.
Math was mathing.
The math was mathing for my sister. But the thing is that we got to make our math work for us. And I heard it said, I was on a mastermind before I came on here today. And one of the things that he said is that he was saying that a lot of times we're looking at our money and we have so many places and spaces that our money is going. Our money's going to taxes. Our money's going to inflation. Our money's going to lifestyle. Our money's going to our kids, to our grandkids, to whoever. Go check out my YouTube video. I just dropped one on the black tax. But the thing is that in all these places that it's going to the future. It's going to planning for the future and all those things. But we got to have some places and spaces for our money where we're preparing for a great outro in our 4th quarter, if you will. We're planning for, leaving all on the field, when the rubber meets the road. And that's the inspiration I want you to walk away from here. We don't want you to think that we're doom and gloom. The thing is that I want you out dancing. If you need a ride and we still cool and I'm still driving, we're going to have fun. We're going to have some beverages and some good food. I live in Maryland. I'm not in Maryland right now, but we got the best crabs and crab cakes in America. Don't come for me any other state, Texas, because y'all trying to come for me sometimes. But we just go out and have fun, and we find social events to go to and just be and just hug and laugh and have joy. And it's easy to do that when you don't have financial burdens.
You are so true. And I just want to elaborate a little bit on those critical illnesses. She gave them the most important ones, but there's some little ones in here that I'm reading.
Okay, yeah, because I don't have a list in front of me.
I've got the list. It says aorta graft surgery, aplastic anemia, blindness. Do you know how many people I know because in our community, diabetes is very rampant, and diabetes and high blood pressure, and those things cause blindness. And you can go blind. You have a stroke, you can go blind. I never even realized blindness was part of this. That's something that's really, you don't see that. Invasive cancer, cystic fibrosis, ALS. You already talked about the other ones, but I didn't. These things are the ones that I thought about. Now, my husband passed away. I had a policy for him. He had cardiac arrest, not a heart attack. There's a difference, and I didn't realize it was a difference. So this particular rider covers both of those because there is a difference, and it covers the cardiac arrest and the heart attack. So it's like when we talk about this, we can get into the weeds, but we're doing this for a reason. Everybody knows somebody that has one of these illnesses in your family, in your friendship zone. Somebody that you work with has something here. So the 2 riders we've already gone over are the terminal illness rider and the critical illness rider. And there's 2, well, actually 3 more, but we're going to talk about it and they're different. This is why you got to realize it. When you look at a plan, you got to see the differences. The next one is the chronic illness rider. What does that mean? It's a chronic illness like severe asthma, it's got to be severe. Or it says 90, you're losing your daily living functions for at least 90 days. But that is, you can't bathe, you can't eat. I know people who have severe asthma. They can't breathe. They need an oxygen tank. They need all kinds of stuff. So that chronic illness, not just asthma, but there are other chronic illnesses that happen. But this is a separate rider. It pays for that. So you could cover a lot of the things that happen to us as human beings, and because of the food we eat. I saw a post today and I was like, you know what? I want to start a garden, but I live in the heat. It's already today, it was like 70 something. It felt like it was 80 something degrees. It's going to be in the hundreds very soon. Can I grow a garden in the 100-degree heat? But I really want to, because the food we're eating.
You got to find out how to grow it in the inside.
Yeah, I think so. But
I was gonna say they got one of those little things. It'll pop up in your Facebook ads now that
yeah. Now that
it's
she
like
mentioned
a little
it,
tree thing that grows inside a hydroponic something or other.
Now that she mentioned it, but
I really love that kind of stuff.
And the ad better not show up in my Facebook because we talking.
I know, right? It's gonna be on all three of ours.
As soon as it pops up, I'm sending you a screenshot.
Please send it to me.
It's gonna pop up on all three of ours.
For you.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about, the chronic illness, right? What really causes it to be defined as chronic illness is not being able to do 6 of those, not 6, any 2 of the 6 daily living activities of daily living, any 2 of the 6. So if you are unable to bathe yourself, you're unable to dress yourself, you're unable to feed yourself. So bathing, dressing, eating, toileting, continence, and transferring, moving from, the bed to the chair and things like that. That's what makes it chronic, define it as a chronic illness, right? And if a doctor certifies that, then you'll be able to do that. But I wanted to tell you about one of my friends. I'm privileged to call her a friend, and I talked about her on this show before. But earlier today, right before this show, we were talking about, getting your money right. Black people, women, because that's who we definitely care about, making sure that we get our money right in her group. And she was one that was able to talk about, because she lived through it at an early age, barely 50, I think, or just getting to 50, maybe just a little after 50, where she suffered a medical emergency that rendered her into basically a coma, rendered her unable to walk, talk. She had to learn to do all those things and had to be out of work for more than a year.
Oh, wow.
Right? These are things that, like Aaliyah said, somebody that this has happened to, right? And the very next rider that I want to mention is the critical injury rider. And now, not many insurance companies have this, but one of the ones that we write with also have a critical injury rider. And that one will cover things like coma, paralysis, severe burns, traumatic brain injury, which is what she suffered, So listen, we talked a little bit about getting old, and Saran said the fourth quarter. And it's funny because earlier today I mentioned it as the last 1/3, and I am entering the last 1/3 of my life. It sounds like weird, but it is, because if we are lucky, by the way, getting old is the goal, right? If we're lucky, most people don't even make it till 80, 85, 90. And in between 60 and 90, that's like your last 1/3. Anything after that is like a cherry on top,
Wait. The reason I said quarter is because in my family, we live into the 90s. So for me, it's 25, 50, 75, and the last quarter. So you can live. So the last quarter could be 89, 90 is almost 100. So that's why I use quarter.
Well, I can only be so lucky, if God will bless me, to let me get to the last quarter or to continue in this last 1/3. My mom is 87 years old. God bless her heart. And she is, she's got stuff wrong with her, but she's doing well. She can talk. She has all her faculties. She can, I will go to the doctor with her sometimes, but she can go by herself. She can advocate for herself. I'm going there to advocate if they say anything one which way wrong to her or something like that, or if I believe, depending on the situation that I needed to be there. But if she was just going for a follow-up or something like that, she can do all of that on her own. So, and a lot of, although my grandmother, I never met my grandmother, she died early, but a lot of the family members in my family kind of lived a long time, but that was long ago. I never met any of them. By the time I was born, they were gone, but they lived into hundreds. And except for my grandfather's brother, my grandfather died like in his 80s, but my grandfather's brother died when he was like 104. I was at his 90th birthday when he was dancing up a storm, and he lived until he was 104. But I'm just saying, if 1 through 30 is like the first 1/3, and then 31 to 60 or 59 or whatever, and then the last would be the 60 to 90, and that's where I am. And I thank God for being there, and I hope that he continues to keep me there. I want to be able to live like one of my someone I met one day told me that her grandmother gets up, and every day when she wakes up she goes, "Oh my God, I'm still alive." So I'm waiting. I want God to keep me alive so that I'm waking up and go, "Oh my God, I'm still here," because all my friends are gone, everybody's gone. And but that's the kind of life that I want. But I want to be able to do it and do what I want to do. I don't want to just exist. Like Saran said about her friend, I want to live. And guess what? Living benefits helps you to live. Living benefits is for living.
I love it. I love it. Wow. This has been very interesting. I think there's one more rider, but there is.
The Alzheimer's?
Well, it's the accelerated benefits rider versus the long-term care insurance.
No, that's just comparing the two. But
okay, that's just comparing.
Yeah. But what's the other rider that we do have?
It's coming, right? Or it's new?
It's here already.
The Alzheimer's?
The Alzheimer's is here already, but the other one is the what is it, Saran? Helping the ladies get
infertility journey.
The infertility.
Fertility journey rider.
The fertility journey rider. The fertility journey rider. That's another rider that this particular company has taken the lead on. And once you take a lead and a leap, it's hard for people to catch up.
Do you know how much infertility treatments can cost?
They can. So that anything that they do to help with that is good. And I think we did a live months and months ago, might be over a year ago. Well, maybe not, but we did a live where we talked about it. And we, I think Saran cautioned women like, yeah, live your life if you want to right now. Because, but just make sure you have the insurance policy with the rider.
With the rider. Right.
Don't call us and say, wait, I had spoken to you. Did I get it? Don't call us and don't have your family calling us and say, hey, mom had something happen or dad had something. Did he get that rider? I know he was talking to you. No, we do not want to bring no bad news. The song in the movie, don't bring me no bad news. We do not want to bring any bad news to you or your family. So come talk to us and get the good news in.
Right. Wow. This has been great about the riders because we went over all of them.
Yep. And we're right at that time for us to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
So long. Goodbye. It's time to say farewell. Hey, I'm Carmen Bernard. I can be reached at carmen10k.com. I don't care what Saran says looking at me because I'm singing on it. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not singing, but whatever it is, I'm happy. And that's all that matters, right? You can reach me at carmen10k.com. I help you protect income, eliminate debt, set up a retirement income that you cannot outlive, tax-free retirement income, that is, and help you to create a legacy of generational wealth. And it's good to be here with you another Thursday night, and I will see you soon, ladies.
I'm Aaliyah Sherrod, the healthcare queen. I help families, small business owners, especially us women, make sure they have the best health care possible. You can reach me at Aaliyah 10K also. And thank you for joining us.
And I'm your girl, Saran, and I help high net worth and wealthy women go from chaos to calm in their finances so they can enjoy more of life. You can find me at joinsaran.com and join my community. But until then, peace, love, and light. Let's get your money right.
All right. Bye.